This is Ron back at Ron Brown's YouTube channel, where we discuss many tech gear, including drones, cameras, and even things like phones and tablets here that we use to supplement our the video we get from our drones and our action cameras, such as the GoPros, the Insta360s, the DJI line of action cameras, pockets cameras, and so on. But anyhow, just the other day, today is Thursday the 20th, and as recently as October, did I say October 20th? Just as recently as Wednesday the 18th, Apple announced their new iPad lineup coming out very soon on the 26th, which is next week. I don't know what day that is, but it's next week. And they announced basically three different iPads coming out now. I hope you do remember they have a kind of a full line of iPads. They have, the regular iPad, the iPad Air, the iPad Pro, and of course, don't forget the ever popular iPad Mini. So it has four different lines, and again, the Pros have two different versions. So I guess you could say they have five different iPads. And what they did update is they updated just the regular iPad, and they updated the iPad Pro, both the 11-inch and the 12.9-inch. And it seems like of the three, the plain iPad got kind of the best upgrade of the bunch. And again, I'll go into more details next week when they get released, and we've got some more hands-on kind of first looks, unboxing, things like that. But one of the things that got was if you're doing any type of streaming, such as Zoom, or you're using the Apple what Messenger system. What do they call their thing when you talk? FaceTime. Basically you had to do this stuff in vertical because the camera was at top. But now the iPad, this plain iPad, has a camera on the side, so you could do your all these type of internet conference calling, video calling things in landscape mode that you're accustomed to on your other devices. And it has other nice upgrades too, but that's just one that stood out to me that I saw in the little Apple promo, which I'll put the link down to the promo video now. And that will be starting at $449 for the base configuration, which is a 64 gigabyte memory size on the internal hard drive. Okay, moving on to the Pro series. Let me get the pricing straight for you here. So the 11, what the big upgrade to both iPads really is they got the M2 chip. They had the M1 before. I think the regular iPad's still in the Bionic i14 chip that was in maybe the last generation phone. But now these iPad Pros have the latest and greatest chips at the M2, and both of them have the M2, which is nice. But it looks like the rest of the thing is basically unupgraded. They still have the same screen. I think they still have the same cameras. They may have a little bit better camera, but they still have dated cameras compared to what's on the current generation of phones. They did not get the FaceTime camera moved to the so you can get landscape conferencing is still on the top where it always was on the vertical profile mode. So the regular iPad got upgraded, the Pro did. So that's kind of I hate to say disturbing, but eye opening or whatever. I mean, I'm glad they're giving the regular iPad people something good, but that should have came over to the next generation. So, and the same thing on the 12. They didn't change the screen. They didn't change and the memory configurations or anything. The camera, they didn't really get the camera up to where it should be. All they did was put the M2 in. So it sounds like all they did is just use most of the existing hardware and replace the M1 board with the M2. But the good news is they did not raise prices. The 11-inch still starts at $799 with the base memory configuration, which I think is 128. And also the 12.9-inch starts at $1,099 again with the base configuration, which I think is 128. So it sounds like if you have an iPad, especially an older iPad, it's almost a no-brainer to upgrade to this new iPad. It seems like it has a lot of nice stuff on it. But if you have the most recent generation of iPad Pro, the 11-inch and 12 and 12.9 inch, it's probably not a whole lot of reason to upgrade unless you just have to have the fastest chip to do whatever particular function you need to do to require that chip. But here's the real good news for a lot of us filmmakers, film editors, and the 9 minute Apple video, which guy will link down below. At some point near the end, when they were talking about the M2 and the video editing, they give you a sneak peek of DaVinci Resolve, which now apparently DaVinci has made an app version of the Resolve for the iPad OS. So that caught me by surprise. I didn't know this was coming out. I mean, most of us have been using LumaFusion for a couple of years. Very good editor, and hoping for Final Cut Pro to arrive as an app for the iPad OS, and it hasn't happened, and still doesn't look like it's going to happen. And the reason is, as long as third-party companies like LumaFusion and now DaVinci Resolve are filling that void of providing a high-quality video editor for the tablet, Apple probably doesn't really feel the need to come in there because, of course, they'll hurt those third-party developers if they do that. They always have been pushing LumaFusion in all their promo videos and conferences over the years when they release new iPads. So, but anyhow, yeah, DaVinci Resolve. I don't know when it will be officially released. Hopefully next week when the iPads come out. Now on the 24th, which is Monday, this coming Monday, they will release an upgraded version of a iPad iOS, which usually comes out when the phone comes out in September, but it was held back because I heard they had some issues getting Center Stage to work good. Center Stage is a new feature of iPad OS, which will allow better having multiple screens going at the same time. Like they've had sort of where you can swipe and bring in screens from the side, but this Center Stage will act more like what we're used to in multitasking on the desktop. Just take a look at the promo video. You'll see what I mean when he's got the windows sliding atop each other, just like I do on my Apple laptops and iMacs or whatever. So that's something to look for on Monday if you have a recent iPad that can handle the new version of a Mac iOS, and iPad iOS. I don't know how far they'll go back. That'll be all in the details, but I'm sure all the recent models will run it. So that'll be something to upgrade to, especially to get that new Center Stage feature. But that may only work on some of the newer iPads. I'm sure that's going to be processor intensive. So so it was a kind of a mixed announcement. Again, I'm not going to pre-review these things or whatever. Maybe that new M2 chip, maybe when maybe that's the bee's knees, maybe that'll turn the iPad Pros into laptop replacements. I just do not know. But on paper, it doesn't sound like it's much of an upgrade. Of course, again, they did not increase the price either, so that is as a good thing. But again, I'm looking forward to next Wednesday when all the influencers and people like that will probably have the new iPads that day, and they'll be able to put their reviews out. They have now, they're just working for their reviews towards next Wednesday. So I'm anxious to see how they what the comparisons are like between the previous generations of not only the iPad Pros, but again, a lot of people are going to love that new just apply an iPad. I mean, great tablet for for your mother, your wife, somebody like that who's mostly playing games and answering emails and checking their Facebook updates or whatever. Those iPads are perfect for those people. Unless you're editing videos, doing a lot of intensive photo editing, whatever, or playing kind of some graphic intensive games. It's probably you probably don't need the iPad Pro, but so just my take. Again, I don't have the units. I'm just giving you my thoughts and opinions, which are just my thoughts and opinions. That doesn't mean they're right. That doesn't mean they're right for you. Anything. Just my random thoughts. And I'll check back with you next week when they actually come out. I don't think I'll be upgrading because again, I had the most recent iPad Pro. Again, at this point, I do not believe I'll be upgrading, but my mind could be changed if I see something really eye-opening next week. But I will come back and give you kind of a preview of what I think of the upgraded iPad iOS, which it's 16, same number as the phone. iOS. So yeah, so that's all I got to say today on this. On today's episode of Ron Talk. Sorry, I hadn't been around talking in a while, but we're back talking today, and we'll have a lot to talk about coming up. I think next week or whatever. I have a couple things I want to talk about. So if you haven't subscribed, ring the bell notification, give me the thumbs up if you got anything out of this video, and we'll see you in the next one, folks. Cut.